The underestimation. In a distant corner of the galaxy, there was a powerful empire stretching across countless worlds. The empire was ruled by a race of highly advanced aliens, beings with technology far beyond anything humanity had ever imagined. They had conquered planet after planet, wiping out any who dared to stand against them. Their weapons were unmatched, and their armies were endless. To them, humans were nothing more than a small, insignificant species, barely worth noticing. For centuries, the aliens had watched Earth from afar. They had studied the humans and concluded that the people of this young, fragile world were not a threat. They believed that humans were weak, easy to defeat, and would never rise to challenge the might of their empire. The aliens saw humans as little more than ants, insignificant, and doomed to be crushed under the weight of the galaxy's power. But what the aliens did not know was that humanity was much more than they appeared. The humans had a resilience, a strength that went unnoticed by their alien observers. This strength was born from their endless struggles, their survival in a hostile world, and their unshakable belief that they could overcome any obstacle. They may not have had the advanced technology of the aliens, but they had something far more dangerous: human determination and courage. The galaxy had been at peace for decades, with the alien empire's dominance unchallenged. But peace, as the humans knew all too well, was fragile. And so, the aliens had turned their gaze back toward Earth, eyeing it for its resources and strategic position in the galaxy. They decided it was time to subdue the humans once and for all. A small fleet of alien ships descended on Earth, their sleek, metallic forms cutting through the skies like thunder. They had come to claim the planet, to remind the humans of their place in the universe. The aliens made their landing in a vast desert, where the first human resistance would meet them. Their soldiers, armed with the most advanced weaponry, marched across the barren land with the belief that this would be a simple conquest. But as the alien forces prepared for their assault, something strange began to happen. There were whispers in the human world, rumors that spread like wildfire. People spoke of odd events, of unexplained phenomena occurring in the most unexpected places. In the deep forests of Earth, ancient ruins began to glow with an eerie light. In the distant mountains, strange markings appeared on the rocks, symbols that no one had seen in centuries. No one could explain it, but there was a growing sense of unease among the humans. They couldn't quite put their finger on it, but something felt different. It was as though the very Earth itself was awakening, stirring in a way that had never been seen before. And the humans, in the deepest corners of their souls, knew that this was no ordinary time. The alien empire, so confident in their superiority, had no idea what was about to happen. Deep beneath the surface of Earth, in hidden temples and forgotten caves, ancient beings stirred. The war gods, long thought to be nothing more than legends, began to awaken. These gods were not creatures of flesh and bone, but embodiments of human strength, courage, and resilience. They had once protected Earth from invaders long ago. And now, as the galaxy's most dangerous empire set its sights on humanity, the war gods began to rise once more. As the first alien ships landed on Earth's surface, the humans were ready. At least, that's what the aliens thought. The humans had no idea what they were about to face. The alien commanders, leaders of the invasion, smiled to themselves, confident in their victory. They believed they would crush the human resistance easily. They had faced countless other species, and none had ever stood a chance. But as they set foot on Earth, something was off. The ground beneath their feet seemed to tremble. The air around them felt heavier, charged with an energy they couldn't understand. It was as if the very planet was alive, watching them, waiting for the moment to strike. And then they heard it. A low, thunderous roar that shook the skies. It was the first sign of something ancient and powerful stirring. The war gods had awakened, and with their return, the fate of humanity was about to change forever. The aliens paused, confused, unsure of what was happening. They had underestimated the humans, believing them to be weak. But the ground beneath them was no longer just earth. It was something much more powerful. The war gods had been dormant for centuries, but their power had never faded. Now, they were returning to protect the very people the aliens had sought to crush. The first signs of the war gods' power were subtle, but they were impossible to ignore. The alien invaders began to feel an overwhelming presence, a force beyond their comprehension. They had faced warlords, conquerors, and armies from countless worlds, but they had never faced anything like this. The war gods had come, and with them, humanity's true strength would be revealed. This section introduces the key elements and sets up the suspenseful hook for the rest of the story. Would you like me to continue expanding on the next part, or is there anything you want to adjust in this section? Rising tensions. The first signs of the war gods' awakening were felt all over Earth. Strange lights flickered across the skies, and powerful tremors shook the ground. The alien invaders, still unaware of the true force they were about to face, continued their march forward, confident in their victory. But the humans felt something different, an energy in the air, something ancient and alive. In every city, from the busy streets to the quiet forests, people felt it. The air seemed charged, as if something powerful was about to happen. The world's leaders, military commanders, and scientists tried to make sense of the strange events, but no one had answers. Reports from across the globe spoke of unexplainable phenomena. Ancient ruins glowing with a mysterious light, strange symbols appearing in the sky, and whispers of old legends returning to life. Despite the confusion, the humans were not afraid. If anything, they were united. The fear of an alien invasion brought them together in a way that hadn't happened in centuries. The war gods' return gave them hope. They had no idea what this power meant, but they knew one thing. They were not alone in this fight. As the alien fleet began to land on Earth's surface, the war gods continued to stir beneath the planet's surface. The first war god had already awoken, and with it, a spark of hope ignited within humanity. The aliens, however, had no idea what was coming. They had seen many species fall before their superior technology, but they had never faced an enemy like this. The alien commanders, who had been expecting an easy victory, began to feel uneasy. As they prepared their forces for battle, they noticed something strange. The humans were not as scared as they should have been. They fought back fiercely, their determination and courage surprising the invaders. The aliens had underestimated humanity, and now they were beginning to feel the weight of that mistake. In the heart of Earth's largest cities, humanity's resistance began to form. Soldiers, civilians, and scientists, people from all walks of life, came together to fight for their world. The war god's power was slowly starting to reveal itself, guiding humanity's every move. The war gods were not just ancient protectors. They were the living embodiment of humanity's resilience, a force that had been waiting for the moment to strike back. The aliens, still oblivious to the true threat they were facing, moved forward with their plan. Their forces were vast, and their technology far superior to anything humanity had, but they underestimated the one thing they could never truly defeat: the spirit of humanity. In a dark command center hidden deep within an alien warship, the alien leaders were discussing their strategy. They were confident that their overwhelming numbers would crush any resistance the humans could muster. But then a report came in. The alien scouts, who had been sent to survey the situation, had encountered something unexpected. They had seen strange figures in the shadows, figures that moved with an eerie grace and power. The scouts described the figures as massive and terrifying, their eyes glowing with an ancient light. The war gods had not revealed themselves fully yet, but the aliens could feel their presence, lurking just beyond the edge of their understanding. The alien commanders, once so sure of their victory, now found themselves questioning everything they had known. This was no ordinary battle. This was something far greater. The war gods were real, and they were awakening to defend humanity. The aliens had made a grave mistake in underestimating the humans, and now they were about to learn what it meant to face the full force of the war god's power. But there was no turning back now. The alien fleet was already on Earth's surface, their weapons primed and ready. The humans had no choice but to prepare for the fight of their lives. They knew that the war gods would be their only hope, but they didn't yet understand the full extent of the power that was about to be unleashed. As the first alien soldiers set foot on Earth, the tension between the two forces reached its peak. The war gods, awakened and ready to defend their home, stood silent, waiting for the moment to strike. The alien commanders, too, stood ready, unaware of the storm that was about to hit. As the first alien soldiers set foot on Earth, the tension between the two forces reached its peak. The war gods, awakened and ready to defend their home, stood silent, waiting for the moment to strike. The alien commanders, too, stood ready, unaware of the storm that was about to hit. Humanity had been underestimated. The war gods had awakened, and the galaxy was about to witness the power of the humans. This part builds the suspense and sets up the rising tension between the two forces, leading toward the eventual conflict. The war gods are still mysterious, but their presence is beginning to affect the alien invaders. Would you like to proceed to the next part, or make any changes here? The awakening. The air around Earth seemed to pulse with energy, as though the planet itself was holding its breath. Deep underground, hidden from the eyes of the alien invaders, the war gods continued to stir. These ancient beings, born from the very essence of humanity's strength, had been dormant for centuries. But now, with the invasion on the horizon, their power began to return. It started with a small tremor, a subtle vibration deep within the earth. In the mountains, the ground cracked open to reveal hidden temples, ancient relics, and symbols carved into the stone, glowing with an eerie light. These places, long forgotten by humanity, were now alive with the energy of the war gods. The symbols, which once held great meaning, now seemed to pulse with a quiet but powerful rhythm. The humans had no idea what was happening beneath their feet. They could feel the strange events taking place, but they didn't yet understand their significance. They had no idea that their very history, their ancient past, was coming alive. The war gods, legends told to children and whispered in stories, were real, and they were waking up. In the quiet of the night, an old woman living alone in a small village saw the first sign. She had always believed in the old stories, the tales of gods who once walked the earth, protecting humanity from danger. As she walked near the edge of her village, she saw a flash of light in the sky, like a comet streaking across the heavens. It wasn't a comet, though. It was something else, something much more powerful. The woman knew, deep in her bones, that this was the sign she had been waiting for. The war gods were returning, and she was not the only one who felt it. Across the world, people sensed it too. From ancient warriors to young children, there was an undeniable feeling in the air that something extraordinary was about to unfold. Back in the heart of the alien invasion force, the commanders and soldiers began to notice strange occurrences. Their advanced technology began to malfunction, their equipment shutting down for no apparent reason. The skies above Earth became filled with strange lights, and the air was thick with a strange energy that they couldn't understand. The aliens, so confident in their superiority, now found themselves baffled. They had never encountered anything like this before. They had faced countless enemies, but none had made the atmosphere itself feel alive with power. The alien commanders called for a meeting to discuss the strange events. They knew they had to focus on the humans, but there was something unsettling about the planet itself. It was as though the very Earth was fighting back. Far below the surface, deep within the ancient temples and hidden caverns of Earth, the war gods were fully awakening. The first of them, an immense being made of stone, fire, and light, rose from the depths of the earth. It was a figure that seemed to embody all the strength, courage, and defiance of humanity. With a single step, the ground shook, And the war god's eyes opened, glowing with a fierce light. The god's voice, ancient and thunderous, echoed through the earth. "The time has come," it said. "The humans will rise. The invaders will fall." As the god's voice reverberated across the world, other gods began to awaken. One after another, they rose from the hidden places beneath the planet's surface, each one representing a different aspect of humanity's strength. Some were warriors, others were strategists, but all of them embodied the spirit of survival, the drive to never give up. They were the living embodiment of humanity's greatest qualities, and they had returned to protect the people of Earth. The first war god stepped forward, its massive form towering over the landscape. The ground beneath it cracked and shifted, and the earth seemed to bend to its will. The god's eyes blazed with power, and as it raised its hand, the very air around it seemed to tremble. The aliens, still unaware of the true nature of this power, began their advance on Earth. They had not prepared for this. They had underestimated the humans, believing them weak, fragile, and easy to conquer. But now, they were about to witness something they had never seen before: the might of the war gods and the strength of humanity. On Earth's surface, humanity watched in awe as the first war god revealed itself. People who had once lived in fear of the alien invaders now felt a sense of hope rise within them. The war gods were real, and they were here to protect them. As the war gods stood tall and ready to defend Earth, the tension between the invaders and the defenders grew. The aliens, with their advanced technology, had no idea what they were about to face. They believed their weapons and ships would be enough to crush any resistance. But as the war gods stood against them, a new fear began to grow in their hearts. They had made a mistake. The battle had not yet begun, but already the humans felt the power of their ancient protectors, and they knew one thing: they would not fall easily. This part continues to reveal the awakening of the war gods and sets up the impending conflict between them and the alien invaders. The sense of mystery grows, and the tension between the two forces builds. Would you like to proceed to the next part, or make any adjustments here? The first clash. The first wave of alien invaders arrived on Earth with overwhelming force. Their ships, sleek and powerful, filled the skies. The air hummed with the sound of their engines as they descended onto the surface, ready to begin their conquest. The alien commanders had no doubt in their minds that victory was theirs. After all, they had crushed countless civilizations before. How could a fragile species like humanity stand against them? But what the aliens did not know was that something had changed on Earth. The war gods had awakened, and their power was already altering the balance of the battle. As the alien forces landed in the barren desert, they were met with resistance. At first, the humans fought with what little they had: old weapons, improvised defenses, and sheer determination. But the aliens dismissed them, believing it would be an easy victory. What they didn't realize was that the humans were no longer alone in this fight. Deep within the desert, the first war god stepped forward. The ground trembled beneath its feet, and the air crackled with energy. This being, a towering figure made of stone, fire, and light, looked down upon the invaders with ancient eyes that glowed with a fierce intensity. Its very presence seemed to shake the air, and the invaders could feel the power emanating from it. The war god raised its hand, and with a single movement, the ground beneath the alien forces erupted. The earth split open, and massive stone pillars shot up from the ground, creating an impenetrable barrier. The aliens, caught off guard, scrambled to react, but the war god was too fast. It moved with a power and speed that was impossible to comprehend. With each step, the ground shook, and every movement seemed to command the very earth beneath its feet. The alien commanders stared in disbelief. This was no ordinary enemy. This was something beyond anything they had ever faced. The humans, who they had once thought weak, were now being protected by a force that was beyond their understanding. The first alien commander, a ruthless warrior known for his brutal tactics, ordered his troops to fire. Thousands of blasts from their energy weapons lit up the sky, striking the war god with incredible force. But the war god didn't falter. The blasts seemed to dissipate against its stone-like skin, leaving only faint cracks behind. It was as if the very essence of humanity's strength had made it invincible. The war god's eyes glowed brighter as it took a step forward. With a mighty roar, it slammed its fist into the ground, sending a shockwave rippling outward. The alien forces were thrown off their feet, their weapons disintegrating in an instant. The war god then extended its hand, and from the earth below, massive stone arms rose, grabbing the alien soldiers and hurling them into the air like ragdolls. The aliens, now terrified, tried to retreat, but it was too late. The war god moved like a force of nature, unstoppable and relentless. With every swing, the ground trembled, and the alien soldiers were crushed under the weight of its power. They had never seen anything like this before. No weapon, no technology, could match the sheer force of the war god. As the war god continued its rampage, more war gods began to awaken. Each one brought a new wave of power and strength. One was made of lightning, crackling with energy as it surged through the sky. Another appeared as a giant of iron and steel, its every step shaking the earth. Each war god represented a different aspect of humanity's might: strength, courage, wisdom, and resilience. Together, they formed an unstoppable force. The aliens, now realizing the scale of their mistake, began to regroup. Their commanders ordered their remaining forces to launch a full-scale assault, but the war gods were ready. The humans, emboldened by the arrival of their protectors, fought back with renewed vigor. The war gods fought alongside them, turning the tide of battle. On the battlefield, human soldiers and war gods moved as one. The aliens, once so confident, now found themselves on the defensive. Their ships were shot out of the sky by bolts of lightning from the war gods, and their forces were overwhelmed by the sheer power of humanity's ancient protectors. But even as the first clash raged on, the alien commanders were not ready to give up. They sent in their elite troops, soldiers enhanced with alien technology, hoping to tip the scales in their favor. These soldiers were stronger, faster, and more durable than the average alien warrior, and they posed a serious threat to the humans and the war gods. As the battle intensified, the war gods realized that they would need more than just strength to win this war. They would have to use their ancient wisdom and tactics to outsmart the invaders. But with every passing moment, the humans' resolve grew stronger. They fought not just for survival, but for the right to exist in a galaxy that had once seen them as weak. The first clash was far from over, but it was clear that the war gods had changed the course of the battle. The aliens, once so sure of their victory, were now facing an enemy unlike any they had ever known. And the humans, guided by their ancient protectors, had proven that they were far from weak. This part introduces the first major battle, with the war gods revealing their power and the humans standing their ground against the aliens. The clash is intense, and the war gods make a strong impact on the battlefield. Would you like to continue with the next part, or would you like to make any adjustments here? Turning the tide. As the battle raged on, the humans and war gods began to turn the tide of the invasion. The once confident alien commanders, now shaken by the relentless assault from the war gods, started to realize that their plan was falling apart. The power of the war gods was unlike anything they had ever encountered. The human resistance, once seen as insignificant, was now backed by a force that could rival the might of the galaxy's most advanced empire. The war gods were not just powerful beings, they were strategists, born from the very spirit of humanity's will to survive. As each war god awakened, they brought with them not just physical power, but ancient knowledge and wisdom that had been passed down through the generations. The war gods were the embodiment of everything humanity had fought for: courage, unity, and determination. On the ground, the humans were growing stronger by the minute. The soldiers, inspired by the appearance of the war gods, fought with a renewed vigor. The alien forces, who had once mocked humanity's ability to resist, now found themselves pushed back by a wave of unrelenting courage. The humans no longer feared the alien invaders. They were united, stronger than ever before, and ready to face whatever came next. The war gods, now fully awake and fully aware of the alien threat, began to take control of the battlefield. One war god, made of iron and steel, stood as a towering figure of strength. With each strike, the ground shook, and the alien forces were thrown into disarray. Another war god, a massive figure of flame and smoke, unleashed torrents of fire, scorching the alien soldiers and their ships. The third, a being of lightning and wind, struck down from the skies with bolts of pure energy, obliterating the alien fleets one by one. The alien commanders, who had believed victory was theirs, were now scrambling to hold their forces together. Their ships were being destroyed by the relentless assault from the war gods, and their soldiers were being cut down in waves. The humans, once thought to be weak, were proving that they were anything but. But despite the chaos, the alien commanders were not ready to give up. They had seen countless civilizations fall, and they had no intention of losing to a species they had once written off as insignificant. They ordered the remaining forces to regroup and prepare for a counterattack. They had one final weapon in their arsenal, an alien war machine of unimaginable power designed to crush any resistance. As the war gods continued their assault, the humans prepared for the worst. They knew that the aliens would not surrender easily. The battle had only just begun, and the true test of their strength was yet to come. But with each passing hour, the humans grew more confident. They knew they had something the aliens could never take away, the strength of their spirit. The humans and war gods fought side by side, and the tide of the battle shifted further in their favor. The alien war machine, which had been designed to wipe out entire civilizations, was no match for the combined might of humanity and the war gods. As it advanced toward the human lines, the war gods made their move. With a single, coordinated strike, the war gods shattered the alien war machine. The ground shook as the massive machine exploded in a fiery blaze, sending shockwaves through the alien forces. The remaining alien soldiers, now disoriented and demoralized, began to retreat. The war gods had proven that no weapon, no matter how powerful, could stand against the will of humanity. The humans, with the help of the war gods, pressed their advantage. The alien invaders, once so sure of their victory, were now in full retreat. The war gods continued to lead the charge, smashing through the alien forces with ease. The humans, united and emboldened, followed their protectors into battle, fighting with all their strength. As the alien forces began to collapse, the humans and war gods knew that the tide of war had turned in their favor. The battle was not yet over, but the aliens could no longer ignore the truth. Humanity was not weak. They were strong, they were resilient, and they had the war gods on their side. The alien commanders, once confident in their superiority, were now on the defensive. Their empire, once the most powerful in the galaxy, was crumbling before the might of the humans and the war gods. They had underestimated their enemy, and now they were paying the price. This part highlights the turning point in the story, where the humans, with the power of the war gods, begin to push the alien invaders back. The aliens are starting to realize the true strength of humanity, and the tide of battle is shifting in favor of the humans. Would you like to continue with the next part, or make any changes here? The final assault. The battle had raged for days, but now, the humans and the war gods were prepared for the final confrontation. The alien invaders had been pushed back time and time again, and their forces were beginning to break apart. The once mighty empire that had sought to conquer Earth was now on the defensive, and the humans were ready to launch the final assault that would drive them from the planet forever. The war gods, standing tall and powerful, led the charge. Each one of them represented an aspect of humanity's greatest strengths: strength, courage, wisdom, and sacrifice. They had shown the aliens what it meant to underestimate humanity, and now they were about to show them the true power of united human will. The final battle would take place in the heart of the alien stronghold, a massive fortress built into the side of a mountain. This was the last bastion of the alien invaders on Earth, the place where their leaders had gathered to make their final stand. The aliens, desperate and running out of options, had called in their last reserves, elite soldiers, enhanced with the best technology their empire had to offer. But even with their best warriors on the field, the aliens knew they were losing. Their ships had been destroyed, their ground forces shattered, and their morale was at an all-time low. They had underestimated humanity once, and now they were about to pay the ultimate price. As the humans and war gods approached the alien fortress, the ground trembled beneath their feet. The war gods led the charge, their massive forms breaking through the alien defenses with ease. With each step, the earth shook. The air crackled with energy as lightning and fire surged from the war gods, obliterating anything in their path. The alien soldiers, no matter how powerful, stood no chance against the relentless onslaught. The alien leaders, watching from their command center high above the battlefield, realized they had no escape. They had seen the power of the war gods firsthand, and they knew that they could not defeat them. Their only hope was to activate the fortress's final weapon, a massive energy cannon capable of destroying entire cities. But before they could act, the war gods reached the fortress gates. With a mighty roar, the first war god, made of stone and fire, slammed its fists into the gates, shattering them into rubble. The fortress, once an impenetrable symbol of alien strength, was now in ruins. Inside, the alien commanders scrambled to prepare their final weapon. But it was too late. The war gods had already breached the walls, and the humans, led by their newfound divine protectors, stormed into the heart of the alien stronghold. The battle inside the fortress was fierce, but the war gods fought with the power of humanity's deepest resolve, unstoppable and relentless. The alien commanders, realizing that they could not win, made one last desperate attempt to activate their weapon. But the war gods, with their ancient knowledge and power, anticipated their every move. In a final, explosive clash, the war gods destroyed the energy cannon before it could fire, sending a shockwave through the fortress. With the final weapon destroyed, the remaining alien forces collapsed. The war gods, now fully awakened and in control of the battlefield, stood victorious. The humans, united and determined, had pushed back the alien invaders, showing the galaxy that humanity was not a species to be underestimated. They were warriors, survivors, and protectors of their world. The alien commanders, defeated and humiliated, surrendered. They had no choice but to retreat, leaving Earth and its people behind. The humans had won, not just because of their strength, but because of their spirit. They had fought not only for survival, but for their place in the galaxy, proving that they were far from weak. As the last of the alien ships fled Earth's atmosphere, the war gods stood in silence, watching over the humans. The battle was over, but the war had just begun. Humanity had shown that they were a force to be reckoned with, and the galaxy would never forget the lesson they had taught the invaders. With the war gods at their side, humanity was no longer the fragile species the aliens had once thought them to be. They were stronger than ever, united in their victory, and ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. The war gods had not only protected Earth, they had unlocked the true potential of humanity. The battle was won, but the humans knew that their strength would be tested again. They had proved their worth to the galaxy, but the war was only the beginning of their journey. Now, with the war gods by their side, humanity would rise to new heights, facing whatever threats the universe had in store. This part details the final showdown with the alien invaders and their ultimate defeat. The war gods and humans lead a powerful assault that destroys the alien fortress and their final weapon, securing victory. The story ends on a note of triumph, but it also hints at future challenges. Would you like to continue with the next part, or do you have any adjustments in mind? You said, The victory and revelation. The alien invaders had been pushed off Earth, their forces shattered and their leaders defeated. The once mighty empire, which had believed itself invincible, had been humbled by the relentless spirit of humanity and the power of the war gods. The humans had proven themselves, not just as survivors, but as warriors capable of defending their world against any force that threatened it. As the final alien ships retreated from Earth's atmosphere, humanity stood victorious. People all over the world cheered, their voices rising in celebration. The war gods, standing tall and powerful, watched silently over them. They had fulfilled their purpose. They had protected Earth and its people. And now, their role in the galaxy was complete. But as the celebrations continued, a strange silence fell over the battlefield. The humans had won, but something still felt unfinished. The war gods, having seen humanity through this conflict, stood motionless, as if waiting for something. It was then that the truth was revealed. The last of the alien commanders, captured and brought before the humans, was forced to speak. He had witnessed the power of the war gods firsthand, and now, with nothing left to lose, he shared a dark secret. The war gods were not just protectors of Earth. They were born from the very essence of humanity itself, created in the distant past by the combined will of every human who had ever lived. They were not simply gods. They were a reflection of humanity's deepest strength, a force tied to the very soul of humankind. The alien commander revealed that the war gods had been hidden away for centuries, buried beneath the earth, waiting for the moment when humanity would need them most. They had been created by the collective power of human history, the triumphs, the sacrifices, the battles won, and the strength of spirit passed down through generations. The war gods were a manifestation of everything humanity had overcome and everything it had the potential to become. The commander's words sent a ripple of shock through the human leaders. The war gods had not just been guardians. They were the living embodiment of humanity's greatest achievements and its brightest future. They had come not only to defend Earth, but to show humanity its true potential. The war gods had awakened because humanity had proven itself worthy of their power. As the realization spread, the war gods turned their gaze toward Earth, their eyes glowing with a sense of ancient pride. Humanity had earned its place in the galaxy, not through technology or conquest, but through its unbreakable will to survive, its unity in the face of overwhelming odds, and its unyielding belief in the possibility of victory, no matter the cost. The alien commanders, now stripped of their power, were forced to leave Earth and return to their failing empire. They had learned the hard way that humanity was not a species to be underestimated. Their empire had fallen, and the humans, with the help of the war gods, had risen to claim their place in the universe. With the threat of the alien empire gone, the war gods slowly began to fade. Their purpose had been fulfilled. They had shown humanity its strength, and now it was time for them to return to the hidden depths of Earth from which they had come. Their presence, however, would never be forgotten. The war gods had not only saved Earth, they had given humanity a glimpse of what it could truly become when it embraced its full potential. The humans stood together, united by their victory and the lessons they had learned. They knew that the galaxy would never forget the lesson the war gods had taught. Humanity was not weak. They were powerful. They were resilient, and they were ready for whatever came next. The war gods, now silent and still, had given humanity a gift beyond measure. They had shown them the power within themselves, and in doing so, had revealed the true meaning of strength. The war gods had awakened not to fight for humanity, but to remind them that the greatest weapon the human race possessed was not their technology, but their unbreakable will. The battle for Earth was over, but the journey of humanity had just begun. With the war gods gone, humanity was free to shape its own future, knowing that the strength to overcome any challenge lay within them all. And as the humans looked up at the stars, they knew one thing for certain: they would never again be seen as weak. The war gods had given them a new path forward, and the universe would soon learn that when humans rise together, nothing could stand in their way.